This is my timeline of the American Revolutionary War. The American Revolutionary War began on April 19, 1775, with the Battle of Lexington and Concord. This war was mainly about the British and the Americans fighting over who gets control of the colonies. Most of the Americans wanted to be free from British rule because that's what they came to America for, to have religious and economic freedom. But the British did not want to let go of the colonies. They wanted everyone to follow the king. This conflict eventually led to horrible violence and escalated to war. My first event on my timeline is George Washington as Commander-in-Chief. In 1775, George Washington was appointed as Commander-in-Chief. He had been chosen for this amazing job because of his previous military experience. This is a picture of George Washington in his commander uniform. However, this was an incredible job, but George Washington did not want to receive pay for this. He decided that he wanted the expense of the war to be covered instead of getting himself some money. This is a picture of George Washington on the horse that he is depicted in a lot. It is a white horse that he is almost always riding into battle on.
The Treaty of Paris was signed on September.
My second event on my timeline is the Declaration of Independence in 1776. The goal and purpose of this historic document was to provide the colonists with freedom and independence. It was also to free them from the British rule. This was a very historic document and laid the foundation for other countries as well, not just the U.S. It influenced the French Revolution, the Mexican Revolution, and the Haiti slave revolt. In some, it affected a lot of countries across the world. John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston were 6 people that helped write the Declaration of Independence. The Treaty of Alliance with France is my third event on my timeline. It occurred in 1776 through 1778. The French decided to form an alliance with the Americans because they believed that it would benefit them militarily by allying themselves with a powerful nation. This picture is at the signing of the Treaty of Alliance with France. The Treaty of Alliance with France was signed by American diplomats Benjamin Franklin, Silas Dearance, and Arthur Lee. They were chosen for this because Benjamin Franklin had previously lived in France, and they were overall just great diplomats. This treaty was signed on February 6, 1778. This picture is symbolizing the combination of the Americans and the French. My fourth event on my timeline is the Articles of Confederation, which occurred in 1777 through 1781. The Articles of Confederation were written on November 15, 1777. It was ratified by all 13 states on March 1, 1781. The Articles of Confederation were written to give the colonists a sense of unified government, because the government did not really get along as well as they should have. The realistic outcomes of the Articles of Confederation were to give the colonists a freedom and laid the building bricks for the rest of our nation's history. My fifth event on my timeline is the Treaty of Paris, which occurred in 1783. On September 3, 1783, in Paris, the treaty was signed. But they began negotiations on September 7, 1782. The Americans that were involved in this this signing of the treaty was John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and John Jay. The most important of these are the most important article in this treaty was Article 7. The goal of this treaty was to end the Revolutionary War and have peace among Britain and the U.S. Richard Oswald was the British representative at this signing. And this is a picture of the Treaty of Paris being signed. My sixth event is the Constitution of the United States that occurred in 1787. On September 17, 1787, the Constitution was signed. On December 7th, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut ratified it. However, on May 29, 1790, Rhode Island ratified it. Ratify means to sign or to give formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement, making it officially valid. This is a picture of the Constitution of the United States being signed. The Constitution gave the central government more power because they had more land than most people. This was a problem because some states were bigger than others, which could give only a small group of people an advantage. This is a copy of the Constitution of the United States. This was one of the most historic documents in our nation's history. My final event is the Federalist Papers in 1788. The writers of these documents were James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay. There were 85 articles. The Americans didn't know who the publishers were at the time. The name used to describe these were Publius. The name Publius came from James Madison. It relates to the location of additional documents related to the topic. The importance of Fed No. 84 is that Alexander Hamilton said that the Bill of Rights was not necessary in this. A Federalist is an advocate or supporter of federalism. Thank you for listening to my timeline of the Revolutionary War. I hope you've learned something interesting.